welcome to the Expanse Season 4 recap. Before we move on, the next recap will be Altered Carbon Season 1. Now let's get back to the Expanse. Episode 1, New Terra. With the rings now open to other habitable solar systems, a lot of the desperate Belters risk their lives for a new future by attempting to pass the UNM blockade. Most of the ships don't survive the blockade, but the Barba Piccola does, and they land on a lithium-rich planet which they call Ilus. Meanwhile, a commercial ship, the Edward Israel, is sent to Ilus to convince the Belter settlers to leave the planet, because they want the rights to the lithium. However, when a dropship from the Israel descends to the planet, it is attacked and a lot of the people it is carrying are killed, including its leader. The Israel security chief Mercury survives and becomes the new leader. With him as leader, they soon come into conflict with the Belter settlers. Avasarala then sends Holden and the Rossi crew to Ilus to investigate the unnatural structures on the planet and if it has anything to do with the proto-molecule. Episode 2, Jetson. On Mars, Bobby is struggling with her new mundane life and misses being a Marine. She is then invited by Avasarala to a fancy dinner and is even offered a job. However, Bobby refuses the offer because she felt being used as a prop symbolizing Earth's and Mars' newfound friendship. Living with her brother's family, Bobby discovers that her nephew David is being used by a criminal group. Bobby follows him one night and beats the gang up, taking her nephew back home. On Ilus, it is discovered that the planet is indeed somehow linked with the proto-molecule. After investigating the crash site from the Israel's dropship, Amos explains to Mercury that the ship was most likely attacked. The newly arrived and armed Erders engage continually in verbal conflict with the Belter settlers. The situation reaches a climax when Mercury kills one of the Belters. Meanwhile, Holden and Alex interact with one of the large structures on the planet, causing it to discharge energy. Episode 3, Subduction. Back on Earth, Avasarala encounters a new problem, Nancy Gao. Gao aims to be elected the new Secretary General by promoting to explore the ring's habitable planets, while Avasarala urges caution. On Mars, David is kidnapped by his former criminal group. Bobby eventually frees him by cooperating with the criminals and leaving a door at her work open so they can steal military tech from Martian warships, which are being disassembled because the tension with Earth has almost completely disappeared. She notes that the buyers of the tech are Belters. She's even also offered a job by the leader of the group, SI, but Bobby refuses. On Ilus, Mercury identifies the group of Belters that attacked the dropship and has them executed. However, thanks to Naomi, one of the Belters, Lucia, gets away. It is then that Holden and Alex discover that one of the structures, in a tornado-like manner, is heading towards the camp. But Holden prevents the disaster by having a torpedo from the Rossi stop it. Episode 4, Retrograde. Inside the ring space, the OPA behemoth under Drummer's command is in charge of guarding the ring station, while Ashford has become a hunter of Belter pirates in order to maintain the peace with Earth and Mars. However, one of these pirates, Marco Inaros, has been endangering the peace by capturing a UNN ship, the Sojourner, and killing its passengers. Under pressure from both Earth and Mars, Drummer and Ashford, together with other allied Belter factions, hunt and capture Inaros. They are about to execute him when he holds his plea, telling them that they are all Belters, and that they all will eventually be betrayed by the Inners. He manages to gain 3 out of 5 votes, earning him his life. On Mars, Bobby is arrested for her involvement of the stolen tech. Having really no one else, she calls in the aid of Asai and joins his criminal group. Meanwhile on Ilus, Naomi and Lucia are being pursued by Mercury's forces when Amos gets captured after attacking them in order for the women to escape. However, Mercury is stopped by Holden and Alex, who fire the Rossi's PDCs at his forces. Together with Alex and Naomi, Lucia boards the Rossi, going into orbit, while Holden takes command of the settlers' camp. Episode 5, Oppressor. During her first debate against Gao, Avasarala is rushed off stage to deal with an emergency. Her advisors tell her that the Sojourner, the ship captured by Marco Inaros, is heading for Earth. Under pressure and with limited time, Avasarala orders the ship to be destroyed. Back on Islas, Holden is informed that he's somehow linked with all the proto-molecule activities on the planet, including the bugs and the giant structures. It is then that chaos ensues and the Belters and Erders hold each other at gunpoint, with Holden failing to mediate, since neither party wants to leave the lithium-rich planet. On the Rossi, Lucia attempts suicide when she learns her daughter is missing, but is saved by Alex and later offered counsel by Naomi, who tells of her own stunted relationship with Marco Inaros. Alex then discovers a huge nuclear explosion on the planet, with its shockwaves heading towards the settlement. Episode 6: Displacement. After learning of the explosion, Holden convinces all of the settlers to evacuate, knowing that within a day a giant tsunami will engulf the entire camp. However, the Belters leave on one condition, that Holden will convince Avasarala to back up the Belters' claim on the planet. But their evacuation plan is foiled when the planet's defenses disable all fusion reactors and destroy the evacuation shuttle sent by the Edward Israel. Being forced to come up with a new plan, Holden decides that the only place that can shelter them is one of the giant structures. They successfully create a gap and all hurry inside just before the tsunami fully hits. Meanwhile on Mars, Bobby is on her first job when faulty intel compromises it. However, Bobby risks her life and saves Asai and the group by manually opening a security door. After learning of the Sojourner incident, Drummer and Ashford finally find out Marco Inaros' location. Episode 7: A Shot in the Dark. The settlers on Islas split into different areas of the alien structure, with Mercury and the Erders hoarding their resources from the Belters. Mercury reveals to Wei that he has always intended to eradicate the Belters from the planet. Meanwhile, Dr. Okoye discovers a condition spreading in the settler population. Green microorganisms are colonizing their eyes, which will eventually lead to blindness. Several people are also killed by larger, green, slug-like creatures. On the Rossi, Lucia learns that her missing daughter has made her way to the Barba Piccola and devises a solution by tethering the ship to the Rocinante before it will burn up in the atmosphere. On Earth, Avasarala learns that Marco is sighted on the Pisuza and decides for a tactical team to retrieve him with minimal damage. However, the pirate is not found on the ship, and after a firefight, an explosion destroys the ship, killing everyone on board. Episode 8: The One-Eyed Man. After what happened on the Pisuza, both Drummer and Ashford resign, with Ashford going after Marco himself. Avasarala also suffers from the failed mission on the Pisuza and leaks images of the giant and dangerous structures on Islas to have the people support her cautious approach in favor of Gauss expansionism. On Mars, Bobby learns of Asai's new job and doesn't trust it, but Asai tells her that the job pays well, and with all the money he has hoarded, he is planning to build a new future for his family by going through the ring. In the belly of the giant structure, the Islas settlers learn that the green slugs are everywhere, secreting a neurotoxin which kills humans on contact. To make matters even worse, all of the colonists are now blind, with only Holden immune. Dr. Okoye finds out that his immunity is due to his cancer medicine, which he got after the Arrows incident. She quickly creates a cure, restoring everyone's sight. It is then that the investigator/Miller shows up before Holden. Episode 9: Seculum. Mercury orders the Israel to destroy the Rossi via a weaponized shuttle. However, the Rossi crew learns of this plan and just in time manages to save the ship, but also taking damage. On the planet, Miller explains to Holden that he's no longer under the influence of what he calls the builders of the proto-molecule and wants to end his life by locating a weapon on Islas that can kill it. Deep in the structure, Miller and Holden locate the technology, which resembles a glowing eye, and Miller explains that he's planning to inhabit something physical so he can turn off the planet's defenses and kill his ghostly self. However, Mercury and Wei followed them, but they in turn are followed by Amos and Okoye. Amos eventually kills Wei, but is shot by Mercury. Okoye bolts towards Holden and explains the situation. Holden then locates Mercury and disables him, but sparing his life. Meanwhile, Okoye is left with Miller and helps him inhabit a spider-like part of the structure, which is attacked by other parts of the structure, but they manage to overcome them. Just when Holden returns, he witnesses both Okoye and Miller fall into the eye. Episode 10, Cibola Burn. Miller succeeds in disabling the planet's defenses, allowing everyone to evacuate. However, a lot of the Belters decide to remain on the planet now that it is safe. Holden incarcerates Mercury and Lucia to be tried on Earth, but Naomi persuades him to let Lucia go, which he does. Thanks to a warning from Miller, Holden locates and destroys the sample of the proto-molecule on the Rasi. On Earth, Avasarala has been defeated by Gao, due to the successful settlement on Ilos, showing the solar system that expansionism is the way to go. On Mars, Asai and his team are killed in an ambush. In a desperate attempt, Bobby contacts Avasarala and tells her of a conspiracy about stolen Martian military technology involving the Belters, offering to finally work together. Meanwhile, Ashford and his crew locate Marco on his ship. After boarding it, both crews are killed, with Ashford seemingly capturing Marco. However, he is baited by Marco and his son Philip, Marco's and Naomi's son. They space the old space pirate and execute their plan, sending asteroids cloaked with Martian stealth tech towards Earth. However, unbeknownst to Marco, Ashford was secretly transmitting their last conversation to someone. Thanks for watching and see you on the next recap.